Morning, lovely yogis. Just starting on your mat, seated or lying down, whichever position feels better for you this morning. I know we often gravitate to the same posture, but you never know. Sometimes you might like to change it up. There's something to be said with doing all the things that we normally do in a slightly different way. It keeps the brain alive. It creates new neural pathways and creates that sort of feeling within us that change is okay and doing things differently is safe. Even if you were to brush your teeth with the other hand or to cross your arms, which way do you normally do it? And just to reverse little things like that. When you put your deodorant on, for instance, which armpit do you do first? It's all the things that we do on autopilot that we could perhaps become more conscious of, and drawing our awareness into those conscious moments could be the moment that we decide to say an affirmation to ourselves. I'm beautiful. I'm going to love myself today. So just a little thing to think about. When you drink your tea, or which hand do you use? Probably your dominant hand. But these are all little things to think about where you can become a lot more conscious in your day. So as we lie here, just take a moment to ground down. So send your energy roots and imagine it's like tree roots just extending through either the soles of your feet or your tailbone, however you like to visualize this. And just see those roots burying deep into Mother Earth. Connecting us to root chakra at the base of our spine. This energy here is red and linked with safe and security. Drawing your awareness now just to below the navel, this lower belly, lower back area, and just try and sort of think of a lovely bright orange in your mind. If not the colour, then perhaps the fruit will bring that colour into your mind. This area is our Svadhisthana, sacral, and linked with our emotions and our relationships and fluidity of life. Checking in now with your solar plexus above your navel, and this is a beautiful yellow like the sun, or a buttercup colour. Linked with your self-worth, your motivation in life. So if you're feeling lethargic, this will be the area that perhaps linked with others would need a little bit of a boost. If you're feeling low, if someone's shouted at you, had an argument, this can all affect this energy. It just throws it all out. So come up to your heart, Anahata, and seeing a nature green and pink, so perhaps the green of trees or grass, and a lovely pink linked with our unconditional love. And next, coming up to your throat area, Vishuddhi, try to visualise a pale blue like the sky, or turquoise like a tropical water, and tune into how you've been communicating with yourself lately. Have you been kind, or do you berate yourself in your inner dialogue? And your third eye now, that area between the brows, thinking of an indigo, the dark night sky perhaps, and tuning into how you follow your intuition. There are times when we do, naturally, and there are times when we go against it because perhaps our ego or our will takes over. And then maybe, days or weeks down the line, we think, oh, I should have done that. I knew I should have. So, and it's just becoming conscious of that. And then finally, just about an inch above the top of your head is Sahasrara, the crown chakra. And so tune into perhaps a violet colour or a white, however you wish to see this. This is your connection to source, whatever that means for you, whether it's energetic or spiritual or religious. This is your source energy coming in through the crown. So if you're seated, just join me lying down. We'll come into our stretches. Always good to, before you practice yoga, to stretch. Prepares you consciously for your body and makes you aware of anything that maybe you've not noticed in the past. So when you inhale, taking that right arm up and over, just let the hand fall to the floor behind you. And then lifting your toes, come into a flexed position with your foot and just gradually start to lower the leg down and reach up with the arm, stretching through the fingers and the palm of your hand and just feeling active here, finding that space in your waist. And we'll point the toes now. This creates a lovely stretch over the leg and stimulates your stomach meridian. And then when you're ready, just exhale, soften everything. Arm comes down to the side of the body and then palms up. Just observe, just for a breath. And then on your next inhale, left arm. Very simple, slow movements, but brings us into consciousness with our body. So again, flex your foot, push into the heel, toes are lifted to ceiling. And then really lifting, stretching through this side, your feminine side. And how does this feel? Can you notice any sort of twinges where you don't want to stretch as much perhaps? Point the toes. And then just exhale, arm down. Just a breath here. And then when you're ready, both arms over on the inhale. This time you might gently tuck your chin in, lengthen through your spine, and then flex your feet, then point your toes and flex again, and just move the ankles backwards and forwards. Reaching up, feel the shoulder blades part away, feel that little lift through the back of your body away from the mat. And then when you're ready, let's exhale, arms down. And just from those 3 stretches, you perhaps feel a little bit more vital and spacious in the body. So we'll bring the right knee into chest, hands around the shin, taking a deep inhale. Exhale as we bring the forehead towards the knee. Follow the breath as it leaves your body and find the end of that breath. Hold the breath outside. And then inhale when you're ready to come down. Don't hold the breath longer than is comfortable. Everyone's different. So drawing left knee in, we're going to do the same thing. Deep breath in. Feel the belly, feel the lungs. Exhale as you come out. Squeeze all the stagnant air out the body. Find the end of the breath and then external kumbhaka. We hold the breath out. Inhale, come down. Both knees in. And we'll do the same again, deep breath. Up, coming up as you exhale, squeeze out all the air. Lovely stretch for your spine here. And then inhale when you're ready to come down. Holding onto the knees, just rock from side to side. And then making a few small circles in one direction and the other. Notice which way you naturally go first, whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise. Just observe these familiar things we do. Okay. So we'll warm up in a different way this time from Paramritasana 1. Same movements. Let's take the hands and feet up into the air. And we'll stretch the fingers, stretch the toes, and then make fists with the thumbs in and thumbs out, alternating, just wiggling your toes, warming up all the extremities. And then we'll flex at the wrists and the ankles, backwards and forwards. And enjoy pausing for a moment, maybe with the palms up and then the palms down, and the stretch you get over and under the wrists. It's very stimulating for the meridians in the arms. Let's turn, rotate in circles now, the wrists and ankles. And then the other way a few times. Perhaps you'll get a few clicks going on here, which is quite normal. The air releasing in the joints. Then take the arms down, leave the legs raised, and then gently we're going to start to cycle with the legs. Finding a gentle engagement in the core here as you support this movement. How do your knees feel? And then let's just reverse that cycle. It always feels strange to me, this movement. Okay, hug the knees into chest, just release the lower back for a moment. And actually from here we can do some hip circles, and then we can raise the leg and also work the hip that way. So bring your toes together so that the big toes touch. Hands on the knees. Take the knees away from you, take them out to the side, draw them back, and then together again. So hip circles. You're going to rock gently into the lower back, which is quite nice and soothing. And then we can go in the other direction. And then we can come back to stillness. So put the left foot on the floor, raise the right leg, and just again, we can just work the hip in a bigger way. So making big circles. You can follow your big toe with your gaze. Noticing here also as you move the leg, how tight you are in the hamstring, in the back of the leg. And then a few times in the other direction, how wide can you swing your leg? Does that feel good? And then we'll swap sides. So right foot down, left leg raised, and same again, just some big circles or small ones, just however your body wants to react today. Every day is different. Other direction a few times. Maybe you'll notice differences between the right hip and left if there's a little bit of resistance. Okay, and then just bring knees into a chest for a moment, relax into that lower back for a breath. Oh, and then we'll come up to seated, just warm up through the neck and upper body. I like to come onto my little cushion just as we sit for a few moments. It's far more comfortable through the spine to just have the hips elevated slightly higher over the knees. So let's just take Chin Mudra, first finger and thumb touching, the rest of the fingers rest outwards. Close the eyelids for a moment and just tune back into the posture, your spine. Root down through your tailbone with those big roots like a tree. Tune into your breath and notice whether it's very chest breath or whether you can bring the breath to the belly. And let's take the chin down to chest now. Just pause for a moment. Notice the tension that you might be holding in the upper part of your spine, the muscles through your shoulders and upper back. And then we'll take the chin up to the ceiling. And then coming down again. Even between the positions, notice how the movement from up to down feels. Once more up. And then returning back to centre. We're going to tilt the head to the right, so right ear to right shoulder. Just pulling through the left side of the neck, feeling that sensation. And then over to the other side. Just do that one more time each side, right and then left. Because you might notice differences. Even if it's not in the neck, what do you feel down the back? Coming back to centre. And then now twisting to look over the right shoulder. And then left. And maybe you notice that one side you have a little bit more movement than the other. So just doing that twice, coming back to centre. And then finally, let's just take the chin down to chest and a full rotation all the way round. Again, which way do you go first? I find myself going anti-clockwise and then clockwise. Just a little habit I've noticed. Maybe you're doing the same as well. So coming back to centre, just bringing hands onto shoulders and then rotating. Just loosening up any tension here, feeling that lovely movement in the shoulder blades. And then other way. Okay. Coming off cushions and just joining me in butterfly, bound angle or Baddha Konkasan. These different names, Sanskrit, yin names, Hatha names. And just a gentle, gentle lean, if that's possible. Feeling what you're feeling in the lower back here. Notice around the hips. Nothing too intense, we're just still warming up. Take a deep breath. Okay, and then just gently lifting up. Join me on all fours now, hands and knees. Neutral spine for cat-cow. This is a lovely one to sort of do before you come into practice. Gentle movement, so grounding the base of each finger into your mat and the palm of your hand, tops of your feet, feel that connection to the mat as well. Checking in with your breath. And then on your next exhale, we'll arch up like a stretching cat. Pushing into the mat, feeling that stretch across the upper back and shoulder blades. Breathing in, the belly drops as we lift the head and tailbone. And just being a little bit tentative if there's any soreness or tightness in your lumbar or any part of your back. Use the breath. Breathe in, the belly drops into cow. Exhale. We arch up into cat. Sometimes we'll go about our day and we don't really notice our spine until we come into this movement. And you might find not pain, but just sensation. So let's just move into wild cat-cow, where we still come up and down, but we start to sort of circle the body in almost like a figure of 8. So it's sort of rolling the hips, rolling the shoulders. Everyone will kind of do this a little bit differently, but just move the spine in a up, down and side to side movement. And then just a few times the other way. Just feel whatever you feel. Connect with your body. And then coming to stillness. So we'll just push ourselves back into Hatha and take the knees wide, arms can remain in front of you, drop the head down. Lovely stretch through the back of your body. And maybe creep your fingers forward and feel the shoulder blades just pull away from your spine gently. From here, we're just going to take the arms over towards the right-hand side. So still head onto the floor, forehead onto the mat, just feeling that stretch in the left side of your body. And let's come through centre and go over to the left. Just taking a few breaths. Nice side stretch. Lovely for your gallbladder. Okay, coming back to centre, we're going to walk the hands back towards our body. Bring the knees in together. Turn your toes under for a little toe stretch. The plantar of our feet, the part of our body that we probably ignore the most but gets a lot of work as we walk through our day. And also let's turn our hands so that our fingers turn towards our toes. Just briefly, don't overstretch here, but it is quite nice and stimulating through the inner arms, lung and heart meridian. Okay, release the hands, nothing too intense there. And release your toes. We're going to come up to standing. Forward fold, we'll swan dive down just to get our body prepared for a full fold movement. So feet about hip distance apart. We'll take the arms up as we inhale. And then let's just fold forward from our hips, not our waist, into a ragdoll. Bend your knees if you need to. And take some deep breaths here. You can just maybe sway the hips side to side a few times. Move your shoulders. Nod your head yes. And then shake your head no. And just feeling a nice stretch through the whole length of the back of the body, from the back of the heels, the backs of the legs. This is very stimulating for your urinary bladder. When you're ready, inhale, nice and slowly roll up. Stack the spine. Then we can roll our shoulders. Okay, so we'll start with a moon salutation. We had a lovely full moon the other day. Really, really beautiful. Sometimes you'll catch the full moon, sometimes you won't, but when you do, it's mesmerising. So begin at the top of your mat, that short end of the mat, and hands together. Have a moment to ground and lifting the arches of your feet if you need to, and just imagining that the four corners of your feet have an even distribution of weight. Let's inhale. Exhale, just dropping the arms to the side of you.